Hello everyone. This is Nagaraday as a Physics teacher in AIS. You know, in previous class we have discussed about the defects of human eye and what is the power of accommodation and what is the least distance of distance vision and what is the far point. And the defects of the vision we have seen about myopia, hypermetropia and presbyopia, and we have seen about that what is the causes and how we are going to rectify those problems. We have seen in the previous session, and as well as we have seen some numericals also. You know that after completion of defects of human eye and which concept we are going to discuss, you might have knows all of you, right? What chapter, what concept we are going to discuss now? Yes, the chapter is colorful world. The colorful world is nothing but what? It is a combination of all the colors, right? Yeah. So, before start the lesson, before start the concept, I want to give you one small quotation for you. That we should believe and we should agree for that all colors will agree in the dark. Is it correct? Right. If it is the dark, there is no color is going to be visible to us, right? So every color will agree in the dark. Clear? Okay. Now we are going to start with in the colorful world. The first one is most important one, that is the refraction through prism. You might have studied in the light chapter, that is the refraction through the glass slab, right? In the glass slab, how the refraction is going to be takes place, you might have learned in the previous session. Now we are going to see about the prism. This is the figure of the prism. The figure of the prism, if you see in the right one, if you see, this is the prism. The prism, it is a piece of a glass in a transparent material, is bounded by a triangular and three rectangular surfaces. Three rectangular surfaces and two triangles are present in the prism, right? If you see in the front side, it's going to appear only one triangular and three rectangular surfaces, right? So if you see here, as it is, if you observe here, this is the prism diagram. Here if you see now, A, B, C is the one triangle, and AD and FC is the one rectangular, and EB and CF is one rectangular, and AD and EB is the another rectangular surfaces. Clear? Right? Why? These rectangular surfaces are called as the refracting surfaces. These rectangular surfaces is called as the refracting surfaces. Why they are called as the refracting surface? It means the light rays which are passing through the reflecting surface only. If you send the light rays to the prism, right? So what is this? This part is the, what is this? This is the rectangular surface. So that's why we are going to take as the reflecting surface. The next one is angle of prism. What is the angle of prism? The angle between two refracting surface. The angle between two refracting surface. So it means this is the one refracting surface and another one is the two refracting surface. So the angle between two refracting surfaces prism. It's called as the angle of prism. Now we are going to see about the refracting the edge. What is the refracting edge? The refracting edge is nothing but the line along which the two refracting surfaces meet is called as the refracting edge. What is the refracting edge? The refracting edge is nothing but the line along which the two refracting surfaces meet a point. The two refracting surfaces where is going to meet? This is the one refracting surface and this is the another refracting surface. So here we are going to take as the refracted edge. And the last one is, and this one only we are going to call it as the principal section of the edge. What is the principal section of the edge? Is nothing but and any section of the prism. Any section of the prism which is perpendicular to the reflecting edge. What is the reflecting edge? This is the reflecting edge. So which one is the perpendicular to the reflecting edge? This is called as the principal section of the edge. This is called as the principal section of the edge, right? So in this angle of prism and angle this round one, here this is the base of the prism. So here if you see the base of one rectangle shape is there, right? So that's why we are going to call as the base of the prism. Clear everyone? Right? Now we are going to see mainly by using the prism what is the angle of deviation. What is the angle of deviation? So we may have seen in a glass slab, there we have find about the angle of emergence. Angle of emergence where we have found. But in this we are going to see about angle of deviation. So you might have seen this the angle. It is a rectangular glass slab. This is a rectangular glass slab and this is the angle of prism, right? So in this angle of prism, how we are going to be draw by using a prism? How we are going to find the angle of deviation, right? So now we know that we may have studied in a light chapter the refraction. That is the rarer medium and denser medium. The light ray which is having the speed, which is having the more speed is called as the rarer medium and which is having the less speed is called as the denser medium, right? So here also we know that the speed of the light in air is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second and glass. This is in air or vacuum and glass is 2 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second in a glass and 2.25 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second in water, right? So it is based on the surface or based on the material. The speed of the light is going to be increased or it is going to be decreased. It means that totally based on the object is going to be changed. The speed of the light is going to be changes, right? So if you take this is the glass medium, right? So in this the glass medium, the speed of the light is going to be decreased. Is it clear or not? Right? So if you take a normal one, I am going to draw the roughly. When you see the lab later, we will explain clearly that. Just you can see the diagram of the angle of deviation. How we will find the angle of deviation. Now we know that now we are sending the light ray. So we are sending the light ray to the prism. What's going to happen? So in the light ray is incidenting on a glass slab. What's going to happen? So it is going to be refract. Yes or no? So it is a transparent medium, so that's why it is going to be refract. So how it is going to be refract? Either it is towards the normal or away from the normal. So that we know that when the light rays are passing from rarer medium to denser medium, is the light rays is going towards the normal. Right? So from here we are going to take as the one normal. That is the n and n is the normal. So here we know that when the incident rays are passing from rarer medium to denser medium, the light rays is passes through towards the normal. It means it is coming towards the normal. So greater than the angle of refraction. So here angle of incidence is this is what is called as angle of incidence and this is the angle of refraction. Right. So when the light rays are passing inside the prism, again it is going to touch us to the second refracting surface, right? The second refracting surface here. This one we are going to take as the angle of incidence, the second angle of incidence. It means this is the second angle of refraction. This is the second angle of refraction is going to be takes place. So because here now this is the tensor medium and this is the radar medium. Right. Here also we will take as one more normal, that is M and M dash. Right. So when the light rays are passing from tensor medium to radar medium, it goes away from the normal. So it means the light rays is going away from the normal. Right. So here the angle of refracted ray is greater than the incident ray. Greater than the incident ray. How we are going to find the angle of deviation? So if we extend the extended incident ray and extended refracted ray is going to meet at some point, that one is going to call as the angle of deviation, small d, or we are going to denote as the delta. Right? So this is the process how we are going to find the angle of deviation to the prism. Clear everyone? Now we are going to see about the dispersion. The dispersion is nothing but it is defined as the phenomena of splitting of light into the 7 colors. We know that what are the 7 colors is going to be splitting, right? The splitting of light into 7 colors is called as the dispersion. The 7 colors are VGR, we know that is the V, I, B, G, Y, O, R. These are the 7 colors. That is the first one is the violet, indigo, blue, grey, yellow, orange and red. These are the 7 colors what we are going to get in the dispersion of the light. And now we are going to see about these ranges. And how the wavelength is going to be vary and how the frequency will be going to be takes place in the these colors. If in this colors is going to be how is going to be takes place, we are going to see now. Clear? Now we are going to see about that the colors. What are the colors we are going to get from the dispersion of the light? If the dispersion of light is nothing but splitting of the 7 colors. What are the colors we are going to get and what are the ranges of these colors and what is the wavelength and what is the frequency? How the energy is going to be transferred from one color to the another color? How we are going to be see now, right? So let me tell what are the colors we will get, that is the VGR, right? So the VGR, the colors we will write it as to understand very easily. I am going to write in a order, reverse order I am going to write. That is the red, orange, yellow and green and blue and indigo and violet. So if you take these light colors, why I have taken this red, orange, yellow, and green, blue, and indigo, and violet. So we know that in the danger lights we are going to use as the red signals, right? So why we are using only the red lights? So it means it is having the more wavelength, right? It is having the more wavelength is nothing but it will travel more distance, right? So that is the reason I have taken in this order, right? Now I am going to give the ranges of these colors. The first one, if you see, the red one is having the 700 nanometer. So 700 to 750 maybe. So the normally you will take as the 700 nanometers. And orange 625 nanometers. And yellow 590. And green you take as 560. So it is the range between 560 to 590. 500 and 510, whatever it is. So between that is going to be takes place. If you see the indigo is 450 nanometers. This range is 450 nanometers. If you see the violet, this is the least wavelength we have, that is the 400 nanometers. So if you see the nanometers, the violet is the very least wavelength, but it is having the more frequency. The frequency is having more, but the wavelength is very less, right? Now this side I am going to take as the wavelength. The wavelength we are going to do it as the letter lambda, and this side is going to take as the frequency. So frequency we are going to do it as the V or L. As always we can take, and if the wavelength is more, what is going to happen? It is going to travel more distance, right? It is the longest distance, right? So if the wavelength is more, it is going to travel the longest distance. If the frequency is more, which is having more, the energy will be more. So here the frequency is more in the keyboard, it is the energy. The energy is more. Now we will give one relation by seeing this one. What relation we will give? The wavelength is inversely proportional to the frequency, right? So we will write that the lambda is inversely proportional to frequency, right? Yes or no? So if lambda is nothing but the wavelength, if the wavelength is increases, the frequency is going to be decrease. The frequency is going to be decrease, right? So now we will compare. I will ask you two questions from this, and which is having the more wavelength by its red or violet. The red is having the more wavelength. Now I will take as the yellow and indigo, which is having the more frequency. Indigo is having the more frequency. Now I will take green and blue, and which is having the more wavelength. In the green and blue, see it is green is having the more wavelength. So by taking this figure, we will come to know which is the have more wavelength and which is having the less wavelength, and which is having the more frequency and which is having the less frequency. We will come to know. We should remember this formula, that is lambda is inversely proportional to 1 by V. Clear? Clear everyone? So this formula is very important. Right. Now in this, by seeing this, we will come to know that the red color is having the least deviation and the violet color is having the maximum deviation, right? Yes or no? So which is having the least deviation? Red is having the least deviation and violet color is the maximum deviation, right? Now we are going to see about the rainbow. How the rainbow is going to be formed. You might have seen when the rainy season, and after rain, we are going to see the rainbow, right? Then what is the reason it is going to be formed? Then what is the example for that? So what is the reason it is going to be formed? Can you say anybody? Isn't it? Yeah. Yes. Before only we have discussed about the dispersion of light. So because of that only the rainbow is going to form. In the rainbow, what are the colors we are going to see? The same colors only are going to see, that is the picture, right? So the rainbow is going to be formed based on the dispersion of the light. Clear? So, and it is a formed due to the dispersion of white light by the raindrops. In atmosphere, what are the present? What all is present in atmosphere? It is the dust particles and maybe the water droplets is going to be present. So each and every droplets of water is going to be acts as the prism, right? So each and every droplet of water, when it is going to be acts as the prism we know that is going to be splitting into the 7 colors, right? So the rainbow is always formed opposite of the sun. Why it is going to be form opposite of the sun? The rays which is coming in the parallel to the surface. Yes or no? So because of that, the rays which is going to be in a parallel. It's not be any other direction. So it is the rays are coming in the parallel. So that is the reason the rainbow is going to be form opposite of the sun. Right? And when white light enters these raindrops, it is different colors of rays is refract to the different angles. So we know that by seeing that it is going to be used. We take it is going to be use the 7 color light. How we are going to use the 7 colors? It is based on the angle of due to the angle of venom. So how we are going to see this is the red and this is the violet. So if the angle, if the deviation is more or if the angle is more, if it is angle is more, that is nothing but the violet. The angle is less, that is nothing but the red. Yes or no? Clear everyone? So this is about the rainbow formation. Clear? And now, until now we have discussed about the dispersion of light and how the rainbow is forming and what are the ranges of these Wuttjer colors. And now we are going to enter into the second session, that is atmospheric refraction. This is totally different and compared to the others one. So now atmospheric refraction, how the atmospheric refraction is going to be takes place. So we know that we have the two mediums, refraction. Refraction in the sense we know that it is going to be divided into two mediums, right? One is the rarer medium and one is the denser medium. Clear everyone? So one is the rarer medium, nothing but the upper layer of the earth. That is the rarer medium, and denser medium nothing but is below the earth's surface is called as the denser medium. Clear everyone? Now atmospheric refraction is nothing but it is due to the different layers of atmosphere which varying densities. The upper one is an rarer medium and layers close to the earth's surface. The layers which is close to the earth's surface is called as the denser medium. Now we are going to see about the twinkling of stars and about the position. So what is the apparent position is going to be seen in this video.